Hey guys, welcome back. This is your host Phil from underKG.com. Today we're going to take a look on the Google Pixel 2 XL. Firstly, I want to point out that it's got a practical design. It's built on metal, but it is finished by a spray-coated plastic-y finish. So although it doesn't feel like the raw metal on the surface, it feels really nice when you're holding it in your hand. And if I've opted in for the black and white, aka the Panda version, you'll notice that there's a little accent color on your power button. I actually really like that little touch. Moving back to the front facade, there's an 18:9 ratio display covered in 3D arc glass. You can see the rounded embossed finish all around the Gorilla 5 glass. And just like the smaller Pixel 2, this also is covered with the IP67 water and dust resistance. It's no IP68 or mil-spec certification, but it still should be enough to cover it from the everyday water hazards like rain or your bathtub. Now that was the aesthetics, now let's talk about the display panel. This is the same panel that you see from the LG's flagship V30, and that was known for its issues, and Pixel 2 XL sharing the same panel is no exception. The review of this panel was one of the better ones. It was far better than that of our V30. But it still had bad uniformity overall. When you set it on the white screen, especially on a lower brightness, you see the spots here and there. It simply isn't the pure white that you expect from a premium flagship. And more than that, grayscale reproduction is simply terrible. It will render darker grays in black far ahead than the competing devices. Simply put, between white and black, let's say that there are 10 levels of grayness, and it's going to render level 7 gray as in black, where there should be a clear distinction between level 7, 8, 9 grays and definitely the level 10 black. And to make things worse, it has one of the worst viewing angles I've ever seen on a flagship smartphone. Tilt your display just a little bit and you can see the screen turning a bit blue, and it applies the same in every direction. It does have some essential features though. You turn off the screen, there is always on display, although this is not customizable at all, and double tapping on the icons does not take it to the app that's sent it, unlike the Samsung Galaxies. Now, while I had a lot of complaints towards the hardware, the software is definitely a top-notch one. It obviously has a stock Android system. It runs Google's latest Android Oreo. The system looks clean, pure, and they cleverly hid the options less commonly used. And while the hardware specs like Snapdragon 835 and 4GB of RAM aren't too impressive, the speed of running apps and multitasking is purely impressive. You just tap on the apps and they just are there. You don't even have to wait. Just tap and you're back in the multitasking. Of course, there are some weird parts like putting clear all button on the very top of the multitasking panel instead of the bottom, but I love the overall software implementation. You can also squeeze your phone to launch Google Assistant. That is very handy for some occasions and absurdly annoying for the other. There's also unlimited Google Photo storage and lock screen music recognition. So it listens to music playing right now at any time and shows you the title and artist of the song on the lock screen without you even having to ask. And all of them is done offline and never sent to the Google server, so I guess that's really good for your privacy. But that is nowhere near the best feature of the Google Pixel 2 XL, which is the camera. It's got 12 megapixels of f1.8 camera on the rear. This is one of the best cameras I've ever tried on a phone. You know how people call the simple cameras the point and shoot camera? This should be named the point and shoot camera, not because of its lack of abilities, but because of its simplicity and because of its excellence in quality. At any given scene, it takes amazing photos. They usually look better than the reality does in my eyes. Here are some of the photos that I took, and some of them are even took in 2 a.m., where most of the other phones are unable to take a stable photo, and this one makes it into a nice piece of photo. And we're not done, because the best part is in the portrait mode. The portrait mode through single lens is done by Google's machine learning AI algorithm, and it does it really well. I was surprised at how accurately it recognizes the edge of a person or an object. And the best part is that it also works on a front cam, and it's one of the best. The results are so stunning that it almost makes me forget that it lacks OIS and autofocus. The rear camera, of course, does have OIS and is aided by EIS, so combine them together, you get super stable 4K imaging, although it does not support 4K 60 frames per second. So that was the amazing camera department, and what about the audio? It's got a pair of stereo speakers on the front facade, and they are not good. I love stereo speakers. They are definitely better than the mono ones, duh. But this specific pair lacks space and it's going to start squeaking as soon as you turn up the volume. In all fairness, wired audio is fine, but you'll need an adapter or wireless headphones. Yes, you could use the USB Type-C headphones, but only with the digital output, not any Type-C headphones. So much hassle coming from a company that mocked Apple for removing the headphone jack just a year ago, no? Enough with the multimedia, let's get to the battery life. And the battery life is good. It's not great, it's not awesome. It gives around 6 hours to 7 hours of screen on time. But do keep in mind that I'm always on the LTE network, surf the web pretty hardcore, so most of you should be able to get a fair amount of extra on top of what I had. The charging, however, is on the slower side, even with the bundled fast charger. It takes almost 2 hours to fully charge it, and half an hour of charging only gives 26% full battery. So that's all you have to know about the Google Pixel 2 XL, and here comes the verdict. It is a great phone, but not a $50 grade. Let's break it down. It's got a good design, camera, and battery. But on the other hand, the display and audio department is subpar. When you're paying $850 for the base storage and $950 for double that storage, you deserve the best in every department, let alone the crucial factors like display and audio. I personally liked it, but I wouldn't suggest it for this price, especially when there are new issues reported day after day, even though I was one of the lucky ones to get a device without any problems. It's not a bad phone at all, but I would love to suggest that you wait for the price drop. Thank you all for watching. If you have any questions, please leave them down in the comments. You can meet us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and Google+. We'll see you guys later. Ciao.